we're doing a carrot today. And a carrot, you think, okay, well, that looks pretty basic. But what I want to do today is not so much focus on the drawing as on the color. Because I think I said in my Facebook post, we're going to look at making our oranges orangerier and our greens greener. Because it's quite an important little feature of paint. So anyway, to start off with, let's just do a loose sketch of this. We're not bothering about accuracy. Let's just get a carrot in. You can use a little bit of license if you like. You know, give it a tail. But just do that. You can put a few little details on if you like. So it's very like the good old chilies, because it's an organic, non-specific shape with a cap on it, and then it's got leaves. Now, I'm not going to obsess about every leaf that I can see here. I don't want to spend the rest of the day drawing leaves like that. So I'm just going to suggest them like this. I'm just going to put a few in like so. I'm going to put the 3 stems in. Yeah, as I was saying. Let's just suggest these. Look, do them really quickly. They're quite a specific shape. They just do this. They just shoot out. There's a stem that comes out on a limb, and it's got these fingered leaf shapes. So they're random. I'm making them random, but they're also capturing the essence of the nature of the leaf as well. It doesn't matter if they cross over. In fact, it's rather nice if they do. And we'll come back to those later on. So I'm going to leave it at that. Otherwise, I'm going to spend all day getting every leaf into there. Let's have a look at some colour. Right. Now, every paint set that you get has generally got 2 types of the primary colours. So in here, this is a very basic set, only a small one. I've got 2 yellows, I've got 2 reds, and I've got 2 blues. They're the primary colours, yellow, red, and blue. We're making orange and green. Orange and green are secondary colours, which means that they're made out of combinations of the primary colours. The orange is made out of a combination of yellow and red, and the green is made out of a combination of yellow and blue. But you get a very different orange and a very different green by mixing these 2 varieties of red and blue with the yellow. So let's have a look, see what we've got. We have got, and it's a good idea to do this with me, because you sometimes have to try it and see it to believe it. And they say you can't teach watercolor, you've got to learn it. So yeah, have a go at doing this yourself. So this is the cool yellow. Did I mention that there are 2 varieties which are cool versions and warm versions? So we've got a cool yellow and a warm yellow. We've got a cool red and a warm red. And we've got a cool blue and a warm blue. The cool yellow is lemon yellow. And it looks like this. The other yellow is the warm yellow, cadmium yellow, which is a lovely kind of egg yolk colour. And that looks like this. On to the reds. The warm red is the chromium red or cadmium red. And that is that beautiful pillar box red. And the cool red, which is sometimes called alizarin crimson or permanent rose, is that color. Can you see They're obviously both reds, but there are subtle differences between the two. And then finally, the blues. The warm blue is the ultramarine blue. It's always the ultramarine blue, which is that beautiful, call that navy, maybe. The cool blue can be several different types of blue. It can be a Prussian blue or a cerulean blue. And the differences there are subtle, but they are important to notice, because if we want to make an orange, we want to make a hot orange. Now, if we mix together lemon yellow, let me just have a bit of a clean up. To make a hot orange, if I were to mix lemon yellow with a little bit of my cool red, which is this alizarin crimson, I get this color, which is a kind of orange, but it's a murky orange. If I wanted a nice bright hot yellow, what I need, sorry, a hot orange, what I need to do is I need to mix my warm yellow with my warm red. And then bang. I don't know if you can see the difference there. It's a little bit subtle, but I've got that's my lemon yellow. That's my cool yellow and my cool red, making a murky browny orange, but my hot yellow and my hot red make this lovely fiery orange. So let's get that in, and let's just get that carroted like so. And this is a sketchbook. We're doing quick, spontaneous sketches. Now, this is not to say that this is totally redundant. You can add interest and variety and give depth to this carrot by using the other orange. You can just drop it in. You can drop in the components of both. A little bit of the warm or cool red in there gives it variety, gives it interest, gives it depth. So it's worth knowing that to make a hot orange, you need to make the hot colors, but also don't abandon all the other colors. Don't abandon all the other ingredients of orange. Just drop them in and see how it makes it. Now let's look at the green. If I wanted a bright green, a nice zingy spring green, without touching my greens, I need to use my cool yellow and I need to use my cool blue. Let's look at the difference. Let's start by making a green with the warm yellow and the warm blue. Let's see what happens there. So this is my warm yellow, cadmium yellow, that lovely egg yolk. Now, just a touch of warm blue, the ultramarine, and it is only a touch because that's all you need. It's very strong. Now look, because those are two warm colors, that has made a rather murky olive green. I don't want that for this. I want a nice spring green. Okay, so we need the cool lemon yellow and the cool Prussian blue. Let's see the difference in the greens that will make. In fact, let's get in here. Let's get in here. In fact, I've kind of done with this yellow, so I'm going to use this little puddle here to make my bright green. Cool yellow, cool blue. Look at that. And look at the difference in those. I don't know if you can see it very well through this camera, but that is a much more accurate spring green compared to the olive green, which is a little bit yellow. Could probably done with a little bit more blue in that, but big difference. So I've now found my hot orange, my spring green. It's going to make a much nicer picture than if I'd have used the other two things there. Okay, let's paint these leaves. Now, that is a complex little set of foliage there, and I don't really want to be doing with that. I've got 10 minutes to finish this drawing. So I'm going to go into my spring green, and I'm just going to suggest what's going on in here. If I squint at this and allow it to go out of focus, I can see blocks of color. I can see bits of white coming through the blocks of green, but I can squint and find areas of solid tone. So I'm coming in with that green, the lovely spring green, and I'm just putting in some, let's get those stems in. And then I'm going to start painting these leaves as blocks. Now, because they're a specific palm-shaped shape, I'm going to paint them with my brush. I'm going to use my brush strokes to create the leaf shape like that. I'm not bothered that I'm not inside the lines at all. In fact, I can even paint some leaf shapes where there aren't any pencil lines. This is all about just getting the essence and the feel of the leaves. And I'm creating blocks of color. I'm creating these blocks that I can see there. And I'm doing them over and inside and around my pencil lines. And I'm using the tip of the brush to create those palm-shaped fronds as well. So the blocks of color are combining with the pencil lines to create an overall impression of what I'm trying to represent. Now, touch the tip of your brush down lightly, and you should, if you've got a half decent brush, get a nice point. And then as you apply a little bit more pressure, and you press the belly of the brush down to the paper, that should splay the bristles out and give you a wider line. Now, there's more than one green in here, and just as we did with the carrot, we can employ some of the other greens in here as well. Now, I might not want to go down this murky olive green route, but I do want to darken that down. So I'm going to go in with a little bit more of my blue and push it towards the blue end of the spectrum. So I've gone from there to there, maybe a little bit more blue. You see, we're getting, just by adding more blue, I'm getting a darker green, but I'm not going down there, I'm going down there. And I can add these, put a few more fronds in, and that is going to add, just as it did here, it's going to add the background detail, still working those finger-shaped leaves. And you know what? Let's try some of this olive green in there. See what it does. It can only add variety. Let's make that a bit stronger. The olive green, the warm yellow and the warm blue. That lovely cadmium yellow, a lovely egg yolk colour, and ultramarine. A bit more ultramarine. Makes such a difference between this green and this green. Look, really kind of deep khaki green now. That's a lot more blue. There's a huge difference between the greens you can achieve with just a simple set of colours. Right, let's put a few of these in. Because this is going to make it look more three-dimensional. These are leaves in the background, hiding from the light. Just here and there, poking through. Need the reference anymore. I'm playing quite happily all by myself now. Just putting a few random dashes in to give the impression of things peeping out from the background. Carrot is now dried, so I could, if I wanted to, add a little bit more interest by glazing over the top. Let's put a few more bands in there. We usually like to put a shadow on, but I'm not sure I'm going to do this time. I think that looks nice as it is. I'm tempted to come in with a bit more pencil action. It's very often isn't it? These are nice. These are water-soluble pencils, which, when you get them wet, just by dipping them into a bit of previously wet paint there, they give a lovely black line. They look like pencils when they're dry, but when they get a bit damper, they give a lovely kind of sooty black line. They melt in the water. Just messing with this slightly damp paint to get a bit more texture, make it a bit more exciting. And then into here again. Here and there, I can do a little bit more of an accurate drawing of a leaf, which just delivers a little bit more visual information. I look closely at this, for example, and do a bit more of a studied version. I can see, okay, it kind of does this. And it's a sketchbook study. So they're just little bits of information like this to tell me a bit more about what this leaf is doing and how it behaves when it gets to the end. It does this. Okay. I think I've scooted through this and I've kept it fresh and lively and spontaneous, and I think it's done. I could possibly go in here because there are some rather dark, shadowy patches in there. So I could take these tones right down by doing a very, very blue dark. Maybe let's take this right down and see where it goes. This olive khaki green. I added a good dose of ultramarine. It takes me down to this. And that isn't a million miles away from the dark, shadowy leaves in the depths of here. So let's just put in a few hints of that. And again, I'm just using the point of my brush to imitate these leaf shapes. Just hidden away in the shadows here. So, have a bash, do a couple of carrots, and keep it nice and loose and lively as well. If you'd have tried to draw on all these leaves, you would have, oh, I don't know, you'd have lost the will to live by now. But just in a few dashed brush marks like so, and a few pencil outlines, gives the impression of a carrot. Probably more than a carrot carefully drawn would have done. That's rather nice. And of course, you can combine. All we've done here is we've combined the cool lemon yellow and the cool alizarin crimson to make a murky orange. We've combined the cadmium yellow and the cadmium red to make a fiery, lovely hot orange. But of course you can combine, you can cross-reference, you can combine the cool lemon yellow with the hot red, and you can create the whole, in theory, you can create the whole spectrum out of these 6 colors, the cool and warm version of each of the primaries. We'll do a whole lesson on that one day, because it's an interesting thing. It gets even more interesting when you start to explore the varieties of violets and purples you can achieve by using this group here. Okay, any questions, anybody? I'm going to try and unmute you all, see if you can, see if that works. Mute all, mute all. I can't, I've never managed to find, ask all to unmute. Haha, I've probably sent you all a little message, have I?
Yeah.
Hey, any questions?
Is yellow ochre cool?
No, it's a warm one.
Right.
The only cool is the lemon yellow, the zingy lemon yellow. Everything else has got warmth in it, it's got red in it. So
making these up like you've got really works well, because you can really see.
Yeah,
that was very helpful.
yeah.
I found that was a real help.
Good. And you don't need greens really, because you've got all the greens at your disposal here by just utilizing these 4 primaries here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Thank you so much, Martin.
It's a pleasure, Katerina, as always. It's lovely to see you all here. Hang on.
Thank you.
Let me just get rid of this again.
Thanks, Martin.
It's quite all right, everybody. Lovely to see so many of you here. Thank you for coming, and keep practicing, and I'll see you next week.
See you next
Have a
week.
great week, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.